drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like 190,000 million fucking Instagram. I mean, she's got 160 or some
It's like
crazy shit.
130 and 150 or something like that.
Fucking insane. Like,
handling that in her 20s.
Oh, how do you not be crazy? And good luck when you're older. You know, Justin Bieber had a post the other day on his Instagram talking about all the drugs that he did when he was younger and how much it fucked him up. And now he's got a relationship with the Lord, and he's got, you know, he's married, and he's trying to be a normal person.
Yeah.
But he's struggling with the fact that he was insanely famous when he was a kid.
The you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure. 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully.
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there was so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I owned.
That stuff's not gonna matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick, and there was all these things, and I was like, I can't, you know, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like things that money offers, right?
But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me.
This is why Joe Rogan will never do an interview with Justin Bieber.
I always say this about Justin Bieber. When people hear about him going insane, I'm like, of course he's going insane. You have no idea what it would be like to be him and to be 17 years old. And girls literally trying to break into his house. They're coming down chimneys. They're flying in on parachutes. They're doing anything they can. They just want to be around him. You want him to be normal?
Oh, man, poor guy.
Joe Rogan isn't known for holding back. And when Hailey Bieber started revealing what Diddy did to her husband Justin during his teenage years, Rogan completely lost it. The things she's been saying recently have sparked deep concern across the internet. But when Joe took the time to actually break it down on his podcast, the entire tone shifted. This wasn't just speculation anymore, it became a warning, loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. Justin Bieber was just 15 years old when his career exploded. The world saw a charming kid with a voice beyond his years and a bright future ahead. But behind all the flash and fame, there was another story unfolding, a story of power, pressure, and quiet pain. Hailey Bieber is now confirming what many fans had always feared. The people around Justin weren't looking out for him, they were using him. And one name that keeps coming up loudly is Sean Diddy Combs. When Rogan heard Hailey's remarks and started connecting them to everything that's come out about Diddy in recent months, he couldn't believe how deep the story actually goes. This kid was 15, Rogan said. 15 years old, and he's suddenly hanging around with one of the most powerful men in the industry, who's now under federal investigation. You could hear the disbelief in his voice. For Rogan, it wasn't just about Justin. It was about how someone like Diddy could get away with manipulating so many young people while the industry stayed quiet. According to Hailey, Justin still struggles with what happened in those early years. She's talked about the emotional weight he carries, the scars that fame alone couldn't explain. She's never used any graphic language or specific accusations, but her words paint a very clear picture. Something happened to Justin when he was young, something involving Diddy, and it wasn't right. Rogan wasted no time diving into the now viral clip of a teenage Justin recalling how Diddy took him for 48 hours. In the video, Justin awkwardly laughs as he describes being separated from his team and placed under Diddy's personal supervision for a weekend. At the time, people thought it was funny. Just another wild celebrity story. But Rogan sees it differently. That's not normal, Rogan said on his show. You've got a 15-year-old kid being pulled away from his people by a grown man, promising him luxury cars and showing him the real industry. That's not mentorship, that's manipulation. He didn't stop there. Rogan went on to say that stories like this explain why so many young stars end up in emotional trouble. They're kids, they trust these guys, they don't know what's coming, and by the time they do, it's too late. As Hailey quietly continued revealing how Justin's early years shaped his mental health, Rogan doubled down. It's like this whole machine was built to chew up young talent, he said, and Diddy was right there in the middle of it. Rogan also pointed to the bigger pattern surrounding Diddy. You've got lawsuits, you've got raids, you've got footage being destroyed, people vanishing, and now you've got Hailey Bieber saying her husband still can't fully talk about what happened to him when he met Diddy as a teenager. He paused before adding, I don't know how anyone looks at that and doesn't feel sick. Hailey never uses dramatic language. She doesn't name names aggressively, but Rogan said that's exactly what makes her story so powerful. She's not chasing clout. She's not trying to start drama. She's just standing by her husband and sharing the truth, and that makes it even more believable. The most heartbreaking part, according to Rogan, is that Justin has clearly tried to move on, but the impact lingers. You can tell the guy's still carrying it, he said. Even when he smiles, you can see it in his eyes. Something happened back then and it changed him. Rogan also called out the rest of the music industry for staying silent. Where were the adults, he asked. Where were the people who were supposed to be protecting this kid? Everybody just kept pushing him forward, acting like being around guys like Diddy was a good thing. He emphasized that this isn't just about one young artist. It's a whole system, Rogan said. And now that Hailey is opening up, maybe more people will start asking the hard questions. In a particularly emotional moment, Rogan addressed the footage of Justin talking about being with Diddy for 2 straight days. That video haunts me, he said. You can see he's uncomfortable. You can see he doesn't know how to explain what really happened. But he tries to laugh it off because that's what you do when you're 15 and surrounded by powerful people. He added that it's only now, years later, that fans are re-watching those clips and seeing them for what they truly are. Like, they're not funny, they're not cute, they're warnings, and nobody listened. Rogan went on to say that Hailey deserves credit for even saying as much as she has. She's trying to help her husband heal. She's showing people that even the biggest stars need protection, need support, and need to be believed. As more information about Diddy's legal troubles continues to surface, Rogan believes we'll hear even more stories like Justin's. He's probably not the only one, Rogan said, but he's one of the few who made it out and found someone who actually cares about him. He also warned that it's not enough to cancel one person and move on. We need to talk about how this was allowed to happen for so long, Rogan said. How many adults signed off on this? How many people looked the other way? Rogan closed his comments by praising Hailey and Justin for choosing honesty over silence. They didn't have to say anything, he said. They could have kept quiet forever, but they didn't, and that takes guts. He ended with a warning to the industry. This is what happens when you protect the wrong people for too long. The truth comes out, and when it does, it doesn't just take down the guilty, it exposes the whole system. This is no longer just a scandal, it's a reckoning. Joe Rogan is angry, Hailey Bieber is done being silent, and Justin, he's finally getting the support he should have had all along. As Diddy's empire crumbles under public pressure, the question isn't whether more stories will come out, it's how many more young voices are still afraid to speak. Hailey's bravery may have just opened the door for them.